On this day in history, May 25th, 1085, Alfonso VI of Castile takes Toledo, Spain, back from the Moors. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, going over the history of the capital. Toledo, the capital of the Spanish province of Toledo, and formerly of the whole country. 47 miles by rail south-southwest of Madrid on the river Tagus, 24 feet above sea level. Population from 1940, 25,503. Toledo is of immemorial antiquity. It was a stronghold of the Carpetani and may have been a Carthaginian trading station. Livy mentions Toletum as urbis parva sed loco monita, which was captured by the Romans in 193 BC. Under Roman rule, it became a colonia and the capital of Carpetania. Its ecclesiastical importance is coeval with the introduction of Christianity into Spain. There were numerous church councils held here, notably in 396, 400, and 589. And here also was the chief battleground in the long political and religious struggle which ended, 589, in the triumph of the Spanish Catholicism over Arianism. From the reign of Athanagild, 534 to 547, until the Moorish conquest in 712, Toletum was generally regarded as the capital of Visigothic Spain. The Moorish chroniclers grow eloquent over the treasures captured by Musa and his army in 712. Tola y Tola, as the city was then called, prospered under the Moors, first as a provincial capital in the Caliphate of Cordova, governed by an emir, 712 to 1035, afterwards as an independent state, 1035 to 85. Its rulers protected the large Jewish colony, founded extensive silk and woolen industries, and made their city an important center of Arab and Hebrew culture, one of the great names associated with it being that of Rabbi Ben Ezra, 1119 to 74. Spanish and Jewish inhabitants became Mozarabs, adopting much of the Moorish culture. Toledo was captured by Alfonso of Leon and Castile, aided by the Cid, in 1085, and 2 years later, he made it his capital. It declined after Philip II moved the capital to Madrid, 1560. In one of the most famous sieges of the Civil War of 1936-39, nationalists in the Toledo Alcazar held out for 70 days and were relieved on September 27, 1936. Toledo occupies a rugged promontory of granite, washed on all sides, except the north by the Tagus, which here flows swiftly through a deep and precipitous gorge. From a distance, it has the aspect of a vast fortress, built on granite, defended by the river and by a double wall on the north, and dominated by the towers of its cathedral and alcazar. The absence of traffic in its maze of dark and winding alleys creates a silence uncommon in so large a town. The principal plaza is the arcaded Zocodover, described by Cervantes in the Novelas Ejemplares. The houses, tall, massive, and somber, are entered by huge iron-studded doors, and most of their windows open on a sheltered inner court, patio. The Alcazar and many other buildings of Toledo suffered great damage during the siege of 1936. The Tagus is spanned by two fortified Moorish bridges, the Puente de Alcantara on the northeast, which was rebuilt in the 13th and 17th centuries, and the Puente de San Martin on the northwest, founded in 1212 and rebuilt in 1390. The Mudahar Puerta del Sol is the finest of several ancient gateways, among which the Puerta Visagra, 1550, restored 1575, and the Puerto de Cambron, 1102, restored 1576, are also interesting. The Puerto Visagra Antigua, a Moorish gateway of the 9th century, has been walled up, but its original form is preserved. The Alcazar, a huge square building with a tower at each corner and a fine arcaded patio, stands on the highest ground in Toledo, originally the site of a Roman fort and now a military academy. Its fine facade, designed by Juan de Herrera, a gateway by Alonso de Covarrubias, and a staircase by Herrera and Francisco de Villalpando, have been preserved. The Ayuntamiento, or City Hall, is a 15th century building with 17th century alterations by Domenico Theotto Capulli, El Greco. The cathedral occupies the site of a Visigothic church, St. Ferdinand, founded the present cathedral in August 1227. The completion of the main fabric was delayed until 1493, while many of the chapels and other subordinate buildings were added even later. Thus, Renaissance and Baroque features have been introduced into a design which was originally Gothic of the 13th century. The interior is 395 feet long by 178 feet broad and is divided by 84 pillars into 5 naves, with central lantern and choir, and a complete series of side chapels. Most of the chapels date from the 15th and 16th centuries and are very magnificent in detail. The superb stained glass windows, chiefly of Flemish work, belong to the same period and number 750. The choir stalls, placed in alabaster recesses divided by columns of red jasper and white marble, are among the finest extant examples of late medieval and Renaissance wood carving, though rivaled by the retablo, which rises behind the high altar to the roof. The treasury, reliquaries, and library still contain many priceless masterpieces and works of art, including the silver monstrance executed by Enrique de Arfe in 1524, and the paintings of Goya, El Greco, Titian, and Rubens. In the Mozarabic chapel, Mass is still performed daily, according to the Mozarabic liturgy, which was also used in 6 of the parish churches until about 1850. Apart from the cathedral, many of the other churches are of great interest and beauty. Several of them, notably Santo Tome and San Vicente, contain masterpieces of El Greco, died 1614, many of whose pictures are collected in the Casa del Greco, founded by the Marqués de Vega Inclán. The Franciscan convent and church of San Juan de los Reyes, florid Gothic, were founded in 1476 by Ferdinand and Isabella. El Cristo de la Luz was originally a mosque, built in 922, and incorporating some pillars from an older Visigothic church. Santo Tome, also a mosque, was reconstructed in the Gothic style during the 14th century. El Cristo de la Vega, formerly known as the Basilica de Santa Leocadia, occupies the site of a Visigothic church built in the 4th century to mark the burial place of the saint. The Mudéjar Santa Maria la Blanca becomes successfully a synagogue. In the 13th and 14th centuries, a church, 1405, an asylum for women, 1550, barracks, 1791-98, and again a church. Toledo's characteristic industry is the manufacture of swords carried on by private firms and especially in the Royal Factory, 1788, which, like the railway station, is about 1 mile from the city. Toledan blades have been famous for 2,000 years, the Coulter Talatanus being mentioned in the Synagetica of Gradius Faliscus. During the 1st century BC, the industry throve under the Moors and especially during the 16th century. It is now practiced on a smaller scale, but the blades produced are still remarkable for flexibility and strength.